This happened 5 years ago, when I first moved to the capital city of my country. I was living in a flat with two of my female friends, Brianna and Laura. They shared a room while I had my own room. I'm a guy. My bed was directly under the window in my room. The apartment was on the ground floor, so if you walk past the building, you're on eye level with the windows. This was never a problem, as there were no paths on that side of the building. It was just around 20 meters of grass and some trees and a road. I'm a sword enthusiast, and I own several swords. All of my swords are battle ready quality, as I like using them in cutting practice, and therefore wall hangers are not a feasible option. We were all hanging out one afternoon. As we were talking, Laura mentioned she thought she heard some knocking on the window the night before, and also thought she saw someone outside. Brianna and I didn't really take this seriously, as Laura often has nightmares and can overreact. We often played pranks on each other, so in the evening of that same day, as we were returning from the shops, Brianna and I decided to knock on Laura's window as a prank. We scared her a lot and we apologised. She laughed and we all went to bed. At around 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and heard knocking. I was convinced it was Laura trying to exact her revenge, so I just looked through the window, and to my surprise, I saw a strange man standing outside. I completely froze and just stared at him. He looked like he was in his 40s and had blonde or grey hair. I didn't see him very well in the dark. We stared at each other for about 3 seconds, but it felt like an hour. He then broke eye contact and reached down to the floor. At that moment, I also thought I saw a blade in his hand. Seeing the blade unfroze me, and my first thought was I had to defend myself. Now, I'm quite large, so I had every confidence I could take this guy. But since I was convinced this guy had a blade, I grabbed one of my swords and went to open the window. The creepy man was gone, but I was in an adrenaline rush, so I opened the window and jumped out. I started looking left and right, trying to see where he went. After a while, there was no sign of him, and my adrenaline wore off. I stood there, as still as a stone, for a couple of seconds, with my sword still in my hand. I suddenly hear a woman scream. It came from the road that was approximately 20 meters from the building. It took me a couple of seconds to realize what had happened, but I finally realized a woman saw me there, standing from the road. If the sword in my hand wasn't scary enough, I must also add that I sleep in just my boxers, and I didn't have time to put anything on before jumping out the window. I tried to shout, "Sorry, I can explain," but understandably, the woman ran off. I went inside and got dressed. I went to wake up my roommates. They were already awake. Apparently, they also heard knocking on their window, but decided to ignore it because they thought it was just me. They woke up when they heard the scream and looked through the window to check. We stayed awake since we were all too shocked to sleep. We were just talking about calling the police when we saw the police drive up the road. They got out of the car and started walking up and down the grass, in front of my window. As they approached the window, I opened it. They said they were investigating a report of a strange man. I told them it was me and the entire story. Thankfully, they didn't mention the sword. I don't think they completely believed me, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have ended well if my roommates didn't back me up. We later filed our own police report, but we never saw this man again, nor did we hear anything back from the police.